How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Ringside Seat Podcast Predictions Show, Episode 9. We are 24 hours from the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas. As always, I am your host. I am Dreamcast Phil.
I'm Jake Ryan is Epic.
And I'm me, Just Billy.
Well, right before we got a few more hours until NXT TakeOver starts, we're going to go ahead and get our predictions out of the way for the Royal Rumble for tomorrow, which, we're about 24 hours away, as I said. This is one of the better Rumbles, I think, in the past couple of years, the match itself and the actual card. So let's get right to it. We're going to start with the pre-show matches. There's 3 of them because there is an early start for the kickoff show for this pay-per-view. First one is Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Sasha Banks, no doubt, will be selling her leg injury. And for that reason, I'm going to say Nia Jax takes this one.
I love Sasha, like she was my girlfriend, but I got to go with Nia Jax too.
Well, this one's going to be unanimous on this one. I think Nia Jax is going to pick up the win and further along this feud till they actually have a match on the main card at the next Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah, I say WrestleMania.
Yeah. And next, we have the Raw Tag Team title match between Cesaro and Sheamus defending against The Club, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I don't know about you guys, but I got a real issue with championship matches being on the pre-show. I know it's happened here or there in the past, but if you want these things to be important, this isn't how they should do it. But that being said, it is the pre-show. I think Cesaro and Sheamus win this because I definitely don't think the title should change hands on the pre-show. I'm going to go Cesaro and Sheamus.
Oh, and a special note, there are going to be 2 referees in this match.
Which I'm sure will come into play at some point.
But my pick is going to be Cesaro and Sheamus as well.
Yeah, like Phil was saying, I don't think that title should change on the pre-show. That just kind of, downplays the reputation of the title. So I think it's going to be Cesaro and Sheamus picking up the win against Gallows and Anderson.
I mean, they definitely gave us a little swerve when it looked like they won on Raw, and then the whole 2 referee things come into play. That's going to make it a little more interesting, but I don't think this is where the titles change. Next, we have a 6-woman tag team match. We have Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi against Alexa Bliss, returning Mickie James to pay-per-view, sort of, and Natalya. I'm going to go with the heels here for the simple reason that Mickie James is the big story, that she's back, and she's either going to get the win or be the reason that her team wins.
Yeah, I agree with you, Phil. I'm going to take the heels as well, and to add on to that, I'm going to say Mickie gets the pin.
I was going to go with the faces on this one. I don't see Mickie getting pinned or anything, but I'm going to go with the faces on this one.
So next up, we jump into the live card here, and a match that I'm really looking forward to. I don't know that it could be the match of the night because the Rumble match itself always trumps everything. But Rich Swann and Neville for the Cruiserweight title. I'm probably thinking more with my heart than my head here, but I really feel that Neville needs to win this match and be the true king of the cruiserweights, as he calls himself, and he can really elevate this entire division. I think everybody wins if Neville is able to win the title, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you, Phil. I'm going with Neville. As much as I love Rich Swann and how much I think he's great, I think Neville has to win to prove that he is truly the king of the cruiserweights, if you will.
Yeah, it's another unanimous decision on this one. I think Neville's going to pick up the win, and hopefully that he'll add a little more spice to the cruiserweight division and get people interested back into it.
Which I will say, now that 205 Live has had, a couple of weeks, it's probably been going, for about a month or 2 now, it's kind of got its legs, and, I watch it every week, and it is entertaining. So the whole division, is getting better, and I think this will just be another step in the right direction. Next up, we have the Raw Women's title match, Charlotte Flair and her pay-per-view undefeated streak against Bayley. I think Charlotte's not losing on pay-per-view to WrestleMania, so I'm thinking Charlotte wins this. It's gonna be a great match. We've seen these 2 face off plenty of times in NXT, even a few times on Raw. It's never been a bad match between the 2 of them, but I do have Charlotte in this.
Fun fact, one of the last time the 3 of us went to a taping, we actually saw a match between them, and Bayley won with an avalanche Bayley to belly suplex. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that was a thing. But in reference to this match, I definitely agree with you, Phil. I think Charlotte is going to keep her pay-per-view streak going. My pick is Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Charlotte all the way. Like Phil said, I don't think she's going to lose till WrestleMania. And even at WrestleMania, I don't think she's going to get pinned. I think it's going to be like a triple threat or a fatal four-way, so she can still say that she's never been pinned at a pay-per-view, like post-WrestleMania. But I don't see Bayley picking up the win at this pay-per-view at all.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying about her not being pinned, and that could also be the case. I think it's definitely going to be like a multi-woman match at Mania, because there's so many talented women, and you got to get them all on the card. Next, we have the no disqualification match for the Universal title. Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns, and our United States champion, Chris Jericho, will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage, taking it back to the old Memphis days with one of these stipulations. Quick issue with this for me, if it's no disqualification and Jericho's in the cage and he finds a way to get out of the cage, he can still do something, because he can't get disqualified. But I think Owens wins this because Jericho drops him, maybe the United States title, maybe brass knuckles, maybe something. But even from in the cage, I think Jericho finds a way to leave his mark on this match.
Yeah, I agree with you, Phil. I'm going with Kevin Owens as well. I don't see Roman walking out with the title.
Yeah, this is a hard one for me because, Roman wins, LOL, a lot. And so I'm actually going to not go with Roman on this one, go with Kevin Owens. But I see Roman being champion before WrestleMania comes around. But I don't think tonight or the Royal Rumble is going to be his night.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I can see what you mean about him winning the title sometime soon, because I do think we're going to get Owens Jericho at Mania. Like, I feel like they've dragged it out long enough that is eventually what will happen. So yeah, but I think for now, at least, Owens. I think Jericho decides the winner either by helping Owens or backfiring helping Owens and him losing that way. Next, we have the WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and John Cena. John Cena is going for that 16th title reign to tie Ric Flair. I don't doubt Cena's going to get the 16th championship reign. I just really hope it's not tonight. I mean, most title matches, historically, at the Rumble, there's really big title matches, but the titles don't change hands a whole lot at the Rumble. To me, I thought of like Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, and was 09, I want to say. Stuff like that, where it's just a big... just a big, thing about it, but the champion ends up retaining. So I'm going to go AJ, and Cena's got to wait a little longer to get that number 16.
This was the hardest match that I had to pick for because, like you said, Phil, I think Cena will get to 16 eventually, although I personally think that is considered sacrilege because Ric Flair to me will be the greatest of all time, if not one of the greatest of all time. But I think that AJ is going to win only because I just think that if Cena's going to get number 16, I think it would be maybe at a WrestleMania or maybe even a SummerSlam. But I just don't think this Royal Rumble will be his night, so AJ is my pick.
Yeah, this one's hard to pick because I don't know where either of them go from here, if they continue to feud or what. I know they have the Elimination Chamber before the WrestleMania, and that's SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, so the champion's going to be defended in an Elimination Chamber for the first time in a few years. So I don't know if that's when the title will change hands or at the Royal Rumble, but I'm going to go with John Cena for the win on this one, becoming the 16-time champion, tying with Ric Flair and cementing his legacy as one of the greatest that has ever competed in a WWE ring.
Our first disagreement of this card. It's either going to make you or break you, Billy.
And speaking of which, on our last match here, the reason we're all here, the reason everybody watches this pay-per-view, we have the Royal Rumble match. And this is probably one of the more exciting ones, in a couple years, because there is realistically, I think, 5 to 7 people that could realistically win this. I thought about this long and hard, and I think this might be one of those years where an obvious pick isn't going to be the winner. I don't think it'll be Taker. I don't think it'll be Goldberg. I really hope it's not Lesnar, considering we will be at WrestleMania, and I don't want to see him in the main event. So I'm going to throw the curveballiest of curveballs, and I'm going to say Randy Orton.
Wow, that's a different one. I think my theory for Lesnar and Goldberg is that they will have a match at WrestleMania, so both of those guys are out. However, I'm going to go with another not obvious pick, but I've thought about this one long and hard, and I'm thinking that this gentleman will bring a certain demonic twist to WrestleMania. My pick to win the 2017 Royal Rumble match is Finn Balor, the first Universal Champion, and he will be the first two-time when he faces Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. But fingers crossed.
Both of them very interesting picks, Randy Orton and Finn Balor. I'm not sure the outcome of this, the betting odds are Undertaker or Goldberg or even
Braun Strowman has very high odds for whatever reason.
Yeah, Braun Strowman, the monster among men. You know what? I think he's going to win it.
Billy's going with the mountain of the man, as Michael Cole says. So yeah. So we all have, three pretty, different picks, which, I think is good, so we don't pick the same person. And, oh, by the way, Jeremy is in the chat, and it looks like he's saying that he would like to see Balor if he does, in fact, get in there. He says the setup is too perfect if he is healthy enough to do it. So while the Rumble, we've all made our picks, we have 22 confirmed competitors out of the 30. I believe it's 13 for Raw, 8 for SmackDown, and The Undertaker, who is, listed as unsigned on this list. So out of the 8 people, who are some people you think we're going to see? Jake obviously kind of threw an answer in there already with Finn Balor. I think Joe's been talked about. Me personally, if Ty Dillinger doesn't come out at number 10, this whole pay-per-view was a waste. So who are some people you guys think will fill these remaining 8 slots?
Firstly, before I start, I just want to add on to your point. Adding Ty Dillinger at number 10 is basically gift wrapped for the Royal Rumble. So if they don't do that, it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
But thinking about people who I would like to see, and I was bouncing it around this back and forth, and the more I thought about it, the more, I thought of Finn Balor, and that's my pick to win the whole thing. But, and I know this may sound like kind of a weird one, but I think I would maybe like to see Nakamura in there. Now, I know that sounds off, and there's not really much of a chance of him being in there, but I would like to see him in there.
Interesting pick. What about you, Billy?
I think there's going to be some more, roster people that are on the main roster on there, maybe like American Alpha or, Breezango or something, like some of the tag teams that aren't really, the tag team champions that don't have a match, they might be in there,
right,
which is kind of weird to me. But in terms of surprises, obviously I'm going to go with Samoa Joe. He's been off NXT TV for quite a few weeks now. I think it's his time to be called up. What a better perfect place than the Royal Rumble. In terms, we always usually get a legend or a throwback. I've been seeing Hacksaw's name being thrown around.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's always those, random legends that pop in, so.
Yeah, maybe him. It's the 30th anniversary of the Royal Rumble, and he was the first winner, so that'd be pretty cool to see. And another weird name I've been seeing, online is Eugene coming back. So that would be interesting to see.
That definitely would. But we're about out of time here, guys. So enjoy the Rumble and enjoy NXT TakeOver Night. We'll see you next time. We'll save you a seat.